Hi there everybody, it's Lynnea for Miss Ink Stamps, and today I will show you how to make glitter paper using the Miss Ink Stamps Dazzle Dust. So for this card I'm using Moody Blues. This is a gorgeous glitter dust that has primarily blue, but it has a blue-green shift to it. So off camera I went ahead and I took some just heavyweight white cardstock, any cardstock will work, and I covered it with a double-sided adhesive. Now usually when you're die cutting using double-sided adhesive, you want to cut into the actual paper and have the backer sheet at the back. But because I'm going to use this to create my own sticker shape, I'm going to take a circle that's just large enough for my dodo bird, and I'm going to die cut that circle into my double-sided adhesive covered cardstock with the backer sheet facing up, so that, I guess it doesn't matter since it's a circle and the shape is symmetric, but if you were doing something that's not symmetric, like a word die or something, you would want to cut with the backer sheet facing up. So when you peel that off, you're covering your sticky paper with glitter. So I used the Moody Blues Dazzle Dust, completely covered that circle shape, and I kept the backer sheet. I'm going to replace that over my circle and use a bone folder just to kind of burnish in the Dazzle Dust. This is going to make it so that a lot doesn't flake off when I send it in the mail. I'm going to burnish it with the bone folder and then just really press it in with my fingers as well, just kind of going back and forth. It doesn't affect the appearance of the Dazzle Dust at all. It just kind of presses it into the adhesive so that it doesn't rub off. And then my trick for getting any spare bits of glitter up is to use a duster sheet, like a Swiffer duster sheet, run that over your work surface and it'll pick up all the extra Dazzle Dust. I had planned to use just a plain white card base, but as I was kind of looking at my card and thinking about it, I thought that it would be a little too plain, a little too boring. So I'm going to grab my vintage keyhole stencil and I use some tape to position it over my card base. Now usually I use a temporary adhesive. I like to use pixie spray, but I didn't for this card simply for the fact that I didn't have my mixed media box handy, and so it would involve getting up from my desk. So all my lazy crafters unite. So I just used some tape to hold that vintage keyhole stencil in place, and you're going to see as I kind of ink blend through my Distress Oxide colors, when I get to the top my stencil almost shifts, so I go back in and I add some more tape, but I'm reminded as to why I should not be a lazy crafter and why I should go get my mixed media box for my pixie spray, because I almost ruined my background. The Distress Oxide colors I'm using today are Faded Jeans. Right now you see me using Peacock Feathers, and then I'll finish off with Speckled Egg. When I'm blending a gradient of colors, I don't like to blend straight across. I think that kind of makes the eye realize where the blend is happening, and I wanted it to be a seamless blend. So that's why you see me kind of coming up at the edges, kind of making a U shape with my ink blending. So here's my finished background. Now let's get started on the focal point image. I'm using the Miss Ink Stamps Dodo stamp set, so I'm going to stamp the little dodo bird, and of course I'm stamping his top hat as well. I'm stamping in a Copic Safe ink, but he would be super cute to watercolor or color with pencils as well if that's something that you're comfortable with. I'm grabbing my Copic markers. I'm going to start with BG 15 and 2-3. I thought that I would just do a dark and a light like I typically do. Most of the time when I color, I start with my dark and add where I want there to be shadows, and then kind of outline the image a little bit and color over the full image with my lighter marker. For this dodo bird though, he's a little bit of a bigger image, and I thought just using the two colors were going to blend together maybe a little bit too much, so I ended up grabbing a color chart for my markers, and it said that BG10 would blend well with BG23. I didn't love it, so you'll see me, this is the BG23 here. You'll see me when I'm done here starting to leave that empty space up at the top to have a highlight. I found my BG10 and I started coloring and it just wasn't working, so I ended up using my final colors were BG11 as my light, BG23 as my mid, BG15 as my dark. I used C7 and C5 to color in the top hat, the nose, and the feet of my dodo bird. And then I trimmed him out with my scissors, just kind of leaving a little white border, fussy cutting around him. I also stamped a sentiment from the Dodo stamp set, and I'm playing around now with my vintage keyhole background, my Moody Blues Dazzle Dust die cut, and my images here. Once I figured out how I want them to be, I'm using a piece of masking tape to hold together the sentiment and the dodo bird. This is something that I like to do once I get something positioned the way I like it. I don't want to move it because I will forget how it was. Here's a little tip that I like to do when I'm adhering something onto something that has a little bit of texture or grit, like the Dazzle Dust. I like to use foam tape because I like the dimension, but sometimes I'm afraid that the foam tape won't stick really well, that the glitter is going to kind of rub off onto the foam, and over time it'll lose its stickiness and fall off. So I use some adhesive, liquid adhesive, just on top of the foam so I have dimension and security that these images are not going anywhere. I added some more foam behind my Dazzle Dust circle piece, and I'm going to hang that over the edge, flip it over, and trim off the excess with my scissors. And that's going to finish this card. I'm going to show you this Dazzle Dust one more time because it really is stunning. I love the blues with that green shift. It's absolutely gorgeous in real life. You just have to try these Dazzle Dusts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've linked the Miss Ink Stamps products that I used in my video description below, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye! Thank you again very much for watching this video. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button that is on the screen now. And here are a few other videos that I thought you might enjoy.